I make coffee. Anybody want some coffee? Oh wait, let me see. You know what? Let's run some quick pre-roll. I won't go to the BRB screen, but we'll help people not have to deal who are just coming in, just be like, oh dear God, I'm being assaulted with all these ads. Just gotta let it roll. Just gotta let it roll. Looking at stats right now. Yeah, that's right. I got a payout this month. Let's see, what do I have so far now for this month? $22. Not a good start. Good start. Let's see. Huh. Uh-huh. Yo, thank you, Bess. Alright. We're golden. I don't see Detective Gumshoe anywhere. Things seem quiet around here. You sure are right. The chief of detectives seems the same, though. Why don't we go look for some other people to talk to? Right. We can come back later. Did I miss something? Oh, howdy, baby. Oh, Mr. Marshall. I never thought things turned out this way when I woke up this morning. Que sera, sera. You know where life leads you, eh, baby? I should have known my luck had run out when old Billy dried up this morning. Billy? Must be his cactus. Say, where are you headed? Just over to the prosecutor's office for a little interrogation. It's a voluntary appearance, but we all know I won't be coming back. Sorry, but you can't go in the evidence room today, partner. But Mr. Marshall, why did you do it? Why do prospectors head west? If there was a case, I need to know the truth about it. It was that one. Before you turn yourself in, Mr. Marshall, would you mind telling us exactly what happened? Looks like I won't be getting a steak lunch today. Something was fishy about that trial from the beginning. It wasn't just me either. All the detectives thought so. What do you mean fishy? Some of the facts reported were inconsistent with the evidence we found. For example, the murder weapon. The murder weapon? What do you mean? The Swiss blade knife with the broken tip? That was all Joe Dock's, all right, but in the initial autopsy report, a question was raised. A question? The blade of the knife was not a perfect match with the wound in the victim sustained. What do you mean? It means there was a good chance that knife was not the murder weapon. However, in the report that was finally submitted, that possibility had been erased. Could the facts have been concealed with forged evidence? That case left behind scars on all of us. The scars that the SL9 incident left behind. I got the looks, but he got the brains. He was one of the best prosecutors around. I had just made detective when it went down. It's our first case together. How old was he, your brother? He was 17 at the time. He was awarded the highest honor that very day. The highest honor? You mean King of Prosecutors. I knew it. What are you looking at me like that for? That's an honor for a prosecutor. Mr. Marshall must have really been close with his brother. The day the SL9 incident took place, that wasn't the same day as... That's right. It was the same day of the evidence transfer. Interesting. It was dizzying that morning, and by nightfall there was thunder. I couldn't believe 2 years had already gone by already. I tried to steal evidence so the case wouldn't die. Apparently someone tried to stop you. Detective Goodman was murdered, and the evidence locker was empty. There was something going on behind the scenes in that case. We all knew that later. Every detective involved in that investigation said one was taken care of. Miss Starr was fired, and I was demoted and boxed away in a tiny room. What about Detective Goodman? If they did something to him, the commissioner would get suspended. No, they were careful enough not to be too obvious. They? Who are you talking about? Don't get upset, Bam. I mean Damien Grant and Law in the Sky. The investigation lead Damien Grant and his second command, Law in the Sky. There wasn't a person on the force who hadn't heard the duo. That case was the biggest step in both of their careers. After the case ended, Donald transferred to the prosecutor's office, right? Yeah, Damien Grant, the new chief of police, arranged for that to happen. She'd never been the same since she left. Everyone knew her said so. Chief Prosecutor Sky was totally different when she was a detective. Now that he mentions it, Emma said something like that too. Tell me, what happened to my sister? Sorry, Bam, but her secrets is too well guarded. I never found out. Lana's secrets? It all started 2 years ago. So there you have it. That's my story. Did you enjoy it, partner? It was certainly enlightening. There's no one thing for sure I found out in court today. That boy Edgeworth was my enemy. He was the one who used the falsified evidence to get a guilty verdict, but someone else was the one who gave him that evidence and planned everything. That someone is Damien Grant. Don't believe me? Well, I don't blame you. I won't even be a patrolman after today. Hello, mall security guard. Too bad I don't be around to work with you when you become a real scientific investigator. Adios, Spamadane. Wow. This place is always pretty empty, but today it was deserted. That must mean everyone's busy solving crimes. Oh, if you're looking for the others, they're in the conference room. Thanks. Wow, he actually talked to us. With the chief prosecutor saying what she did and the decision about what to do. About Mr. Edgeworth not to mention statement to the media and tomorrow's trial. There's more chaos going on than Thanksgiving and Christmas put together. I think festive is the word usually used for those. Sir, we'd like to have a look around Chief Grant's office. Just use the connecting hallway to the other building and take the elevator to the top floor. Really? You mean it's okay for us to go up there? I mean, we aren't police officers or anything. Hey, you're right. You can't go in there. It's off limits. Now I see where Detective Goodman gets his unique charm. Well, we're waiting for it. Let's head to the chief's office. No one saw. Why is there an organ? How is that even on the top floor? Whoa, where am I? In the chief's office, silly. At least that's what it said on the door. Check out the pipe organ. That's real, isn't it? Hey, I used to take organ lessons in kindergarten. They used to call me Little Miss Batch. I thought I was a genius until they... I never could remember where C was. Oh, it's you two. Chief Grant. He put that paper he was reading in his desk. So, righto, have you been swimming lately? No, I haven't. I've been kind of busy lately. I can appreciate that. I've had my hands full too with Mr. Marshall's misconduct and Lana's provocative statement. Provocative statement? Oh, you mean about the forged evidence? 2 years have passed since that incident. How time flies. See that big picture on the wall over there? That's a picture of Lana, Neil, and me. So, this is Mr. Marshall's brother, Prosecutor Neil Marshall. We took it to commemorate our work together. Something's not right with this picture. I can't quite seem to put my finger on it. This fact there's a knife? Anyways, I like to reminisce all day, but there are matters that need my attention. I'm going to lock up here, so let's go out there. Oh, but this office, it was a crime scene 2 years ago, wasn't it? The case has long been over. There's no need to investigate it anymore. All the same, we'd still like to look around. Perhaps you didn't hear me. I said there's no reason to investigate it anymore. Now hurry, get out. I have a meeting to attend. He's hiding something. Looks like we aren't welcome. It seems that case isn't over with yet after all. What do you mean? Chief Grant denied our request to search the crime scene. That means there must be a reason he doesn't want us looking around in there. You mean like a clue? There's gotta be a way we can get inside the chief officer's office. Alright, somebody get me the trench coat. We're going in. Police Station 24. Let's see, February 24th, Police Station Criminal Affairs Department. Hey, Powell. Detective Gumshoe. Are you supposed to be at a meeting? I'm just taking a breather. My feet hurt. From sitting so long? Actually, from serving everyone coffee. Sounds like Detective Gumshoe's still out of the loop. Say, have either of you seen Mr. Edgeworth? Edgeworth? No. Why do you ask? He's under fire from both the police department and the prosecutor's office. It's almost like the battles between you two in court. That sounds serious. Is it because of what my sister said? That's basically what it all boils down to. That falsified evidence 2 years ago. Now Mr. Edgeworth has the whole world after his blood. Yikes. But why would Edgeworth be blamed? It's not like he knew the evidence was forged. Lana Skye is the guilty party here, isn't she? Regardless, a prosecutor is responsible for the evidence they present in court. Not only that, but as you know, there have been a lot of rumors going around about Mr. Edgeworth. His amazing talent as a prosecutor kept him safe from those who don't like him. But now with this, are there really so many people who hate him? In our world, only those with talents rise to the top. Mr. Edgeworth not only has that, but he's young. There's no better recipe I know of for making enemies. Hey, Dick. Keep up the good work. Yes, sir. Let's go for lunch again sometime. My treat. Yes, sir. You gotta take me back to the joint sometime, okay, Dick? Yes, sir. It seems you don't have any problems with enemies. Yeah, well, I'm careful not to stick out. Anyway, I'm a bit worried about him. Under all the pressure, I'm afraid Mr. Edgeworth just might crack. Actually, I took a look at the file earlier. While the coffee was brewing, he seems genuinely concerned for Edgeworth. Well, what did you find? Did you find out anything? The only evidence Stark left behind during his final attack? His final attack, you mean? When he killed Prosecutor Marshall, who was trying to protect some girl. Me. It seems Detective Gumshoe never realized Emma was the girl. That's when he left the most incriminating evidence of all. Well, what was it? Oh, well, let's see. I think it had something to do with the murder weapon. Oh, I forgot. Look, it's all written somewhere in here, okay? His powers of recollection never failed to impress. Maybe we should show him the murder weapon. Might jog his memory. Joe Dark was 42 at the time of the crime. He was just your run-of-the-mill businessman. A businessman? What made him take to serial killing? One day, on his way home from work, he hit someone with his car. With his car? So it was an accident? An accident, yes, but it transformed him into an animal. An animal? He killed the man that witnessed the accident. Then he killed the other person. A kid just walked by then, so he killed them too. Then the body's jogger came to the scene. Oh my god, this sounds like just sounds like Andy playing Hitman and everything's gone bad. Finally, he turned himself in. Seems he was a pretty careless animal. Of course, this is all conjecture. There wasn't a single shred of evidence. So he turned himself in. Yes, but in the middle of his questioning, he fled and murdered his final victim, Prosecutor Marshall. That crime was witnessed by someone too, but luckily Drake was arrested on the spot. It's a good thing that that witness wasn't killed. That last witness, aka Emma. Murder weapon. About this. Hey, is that... It has a tag attached to it with the label SL9 incident on it. I believe this would be the broken murder weapon you were speaking of. What are you going to do with that? Ever since the case was closed, that knife's been locked away in a locker. On the day Detective Goodman was murdered, this suddenly disappeared from the locker and was found in Mr. Edgeworth's car muffler. That's it. Now I remember what that incriminating piece of evidence was. When you showed me that knife, it all came back to me. Well, what is it, Detective? Quick, before you forget again. This knife. It was Joe Dark's, wasn't it? That's right. We traced it back to the store he bought it from. He bought it at. Plus, it had his fingerprints on it too. But no one actually witnessed him using it to murder anyone, right? That's where his luck ran out. When you take a good look at the knife, you'll see it's broken. You don't have to take a good look to notice that. Yeah, well, take a guess where the broken tip of the knife was found. That's what did him in. Where was it? The victim, near Marshall, was carrying it inside his own body. It was found deep inside the stab wound. It matches Dark's knife. You bet, down to the last fiber. That's pretty conclusive. Damn. Well, there you have it in a nutshell. That's all I know. Can I ask you one more thing? What is it? If it's money you need, you should ask Chief Grant. It's not money, but it does concern the chief. His office is a crime scene, right? It's where Prosecutor Neil Marshall was murdered. The chief's out now, and his office is locked. But we'd like to have a look around, if that's okay. Well, any detective's ID card can open the door. What, really? But if I let a civilian in there, I'd be charged with breach of trust. Breach of trust? Simply put, I'd be canned. Oh, sorry, pal. I don't plan on getting fired because of you. How about this ID card? It was Detective Goodman's. That won't work either. The data was deleted the day he died. Oh. So in other words, Gumshoe is the only chance of getting into that office. I wonder if there's something we could show him that might change his mind. Has to be something. Can't be here. Maybe the parking lot? February 24th, prosecutor's office. Underground parking lot. There's no one here today, not even Miss Starr. Everyone's probably busy looking for what exactly went down in the evidence room. That must be where the detectives are. But we proved in court today that on the day of the crime, no one was murdered in the evidence room at 5:15. Yeah, I thought we were finally making some headway in our case. But instead, it looks like we just ended up making Lana look even more guilty. Hang in there, Lana. I've got to find all the answers by tomorrow. Think. Derek, think. Wait a minute, that's Edgeworth's car. Who does Gumshoe trust more than anyone? Edgeworth. Let's see if he's in his office. February 24th, High Prosecutor's Office, room 1202. I wonder if Edgeworth is back yet. There he is. It looks like he's writing something. What? What are you doing here? He sure was quick to throw that paper on the floor. Tough day in court, huh? I've had to live the past 2 years with rumors flying around. What's another allegation to me? Cheer up, Mr. Edgeworth. I'm rooting for you. That's Edgeworth for you, always trying to hide his real feelings. So what do you want? Unlike some people, I don't have all day. Forged evidence? There's no excuse for what I've done. 2 years ago, I used false evidence to obtain a guilty verdict. That's what it all breaks down to. And nothing I do can erase that fact. But you didn't know, did you? I mean, that evidence was falsified. The police department and the prosecutor's office share a bond of trust. If that bond is broken, we stand to lose everything. The police department's errors is my error, my responsibility as the prosecutor in charge. That fact remains the same no matter what excuses I might have. Mr. Edgeworth. I take pride in my work, so tell me why. Why has it all come to this? Even Edgeworth can't keep this kind of emotion bottled up. Are you up for the trial tomorrow? First, last year's trial, and now this one. It seems all you do is worry about me. To be honest, you're getting on my nerves. But Mr. Edgeworth, you can't just walk out on the trial. Tomorrow's the last day. It's too late to change prosecutors. I'll bet that's what my superiors are banking on. I never thought that case would come back to haunt me like this. What do you mean? The list of evidence? It seems too short. Most lists run twice as long. It's only half as long as most lists. That's odd. After Neil Marshall was murdered, I became a prosecutor for that case. I may not have been part of the investigation, but I knew what I had to do. Use evidence I was given to prove the suspect was guilty. That was really the only thing on my mind at that time. Say, we just saw a picture taken around that time. That picture. Something seems strange about it. Could you tell us again about what happened that day? The day Detective Goodman was murdered? You were participating in a ceremony over at the station, right? I've never cared for ceremonies, but I had to attend that one. Because you were awarded this? Those receiving awards can't exactly skip out on the ceremony. I finished up at the office in the morning, then drove over to the police department. You finished up at the office? Yes. Just odds and ends, clerical stuff. I didn't plan on returning to the office that day. That is, until I was asked to take something back. Take something back? This. Oh yes, Chief Grant asked you to hold on to that, didn't he? Yes. It was a piece of evidence in the case that was closed half a year ago. He asked me to bring it back to the prosecutor's office. That's the story we heard yesterday. So you came here to the prosecutor's office because the chief asked you to? That's right. This picture was hanging on the wall of Chief Grant's office. Prosecutor Neil Marshall, he had just started making a name for himself. Looks like this was taken when he received the King of Prosecutors trophy. Speaking of that, there's something that bothers me. Yes? The trophy Mr. Marshall is holding. It's a little different than yours. Yes, you're right. I remember now. Remember what? That was what the official prosecutor trophy looked like until 2 years ago. There was a story behind the design. A story? Sounds interesting. Would you mind telling us? It's simple, really. Contradiction. That's what the award was based on. This award originates from an ancient Chinese tale. In Chinese, the word contradiction is written with 2 characters. The first one means halberd, and the second one means shield. Have you heard the story? Me? Sure, everyone. Everyone knows that. Why don't you tell it, though? For Emma's sake. Very well. Long ago, in the kingdom of Chu, there was an arms merchant. One day, he presented the king with 2 items. The first was a halberd he claimed could slice through any shield or armor. The second was a shield he claimed that would withstand any weapon. Wait a minute. Those claims contradict each other. Very perceptive. But then again, you've heard the story before, right? Anyway, as you mentioned, the very description of these items discredited both of them. The king pointed them out, the merchant left speechless, and thus the Chinese word for contradiction was born. I see. So the chipped shield and the broken knife symbolize... Precisely so. They symbolize the merchant's items. The ancient tale ends with the merchant at a loss for words, but it's in our nature to pursue matters to their conclusion, even if it results in something as ugly as this. Wow. Thanks, Mr. Edgeworth. I learned something new today. That's funny. If that's so, then why were you only given a shield? You have to ask Chief Grant. 2 years ago, he had the halberd part abolished. Chief Grant. I'm thinking. I wonder what he was writing before. Come on, Mr. Wright. Let's take a look. Are you crazy? Edgeworth is sitting right there. Just distract him. I'll check it out. Hey, Edgeworth. Is that Detective Gumshoe out the window there? Oh no, he's falling to the ground. Hold on. First, let me know what this girl's doing crawling around my feet. He didn't even look. What? Letter of... If you're having trouble reading, I'll read it for you. It says letter of resignation. Resignation? Edgeworth. You don't mean... I'm tired, right? I feel as if something inside me has died. But Mr. Edgeworth, none of it is your fault. I know the path I've walked. You don't need to tell me. And the path I've walked hasn't been a just one. I can't forgive myself for what I've done. And no one else should forgive me either. Oh no, I think he's serious. Mr. Wright, please, you have to do something. This letter of resignation, I wonder if I can use it for anything. Well, we might as well go out.